I'm joined now by Emma Sinclair, an entrepreneur and the youngest person to have floated her company on the London Stock Exchange, and Jane Lunnon, head of Wimbledon High School, an independent girls' school. Thanks so much for coming in. Now, the gap is narrowing, though, because it was 23% last year, so it's dropped by 1%. But why do you think these problems are still here? I'll start with you first, Emma.
Well, it's a slow improvement, isn't it? I mean, it is a shame that the 1970s Equal Opportunity Pay Act hasn't really made a marked difference. But I'm sure that it must be a pipeline thing, because if you look at the statistics, there are increasing numbers of women in FTSE positions, running businesses, lead managers, and in lead positions in businesses. And surely, meritocracy is seeping in, but it's a slow climb, and 22% is not acceptable.
Well, Jane, the reality of it is that we've had a whole generation that have grown up and got into the workplace since the Equal Pay Act was brought into force, and yet there's still that disparity. I mean, when it comes to an all-girls school such as yourself, do you do things to try and encourage women to be, I guess, a little bit more forthright when it comes to talking about pay?
Yes, absolutely. And whilst I think there is a huge responsibility on the employers to try and improve this problem, there is real work that needs to be done with employees, and that starts in schools and with girls. And I think what we do at Wimbledon High, one of the GDST schools, I know my other GDST colleagues do this too, is a lot of work on trying to give girls a voice and make them really clear about what they are worth, what their value is, what their self-esteem and their sense of themselves. Because if you develop that, then when they go into the workplace, they know what they should be getting.
But when it, obviously that's really good to come from that stage, and it's good that you speak about business as being their responsibility as well, because a lot of these figures, when talking about it, talks about the fact that when you get higher up in business, you're less likely to find part-time roles higher up, or people being willing to put on flexible hours.
Yes. And to be honest, I come from the world of business, and to an extent, I don't really believe in over-regulating what should be allowed. What I do think is that measuring the disparity is one way to hold employers accountable, because when, if someone is the best person for the job, then I certainly would give that person for the job. But if there's a very clear and marked gap between every layer in a certain company, then what it does is it focuses people's attention on that matter. It focuses the CEO and everybody at every level of the business. It focuses their attention on why they need to fix this. It doesn't send a good message. In some ways, naming and shaming is not ideal, but it seems that it is critical, really, to start addressing this, because there hasn't been, as we said, a marked difference. Do you bring alumni back to the school is one fantastic way, I think, though, about addressing business, helping schools and helping spread that message.
And I would absolutely say that the making use of alumni network, that can happen at whatever school you are at, and mentors who are out already in the workplace, who can sometimes be the key voice at just the moment when you need it, to say, do you know what, that's great, you've been offered that job, ask for a little bit more money. Interestingly,
Jane, if you're employing people at your school, are you very wary of making sure there's a balance where pay is concerned with male and female teachers?
Absolutely. In fact, the GDST is the employer at my school, and they are a very, very fair employer across the board. So, yes, it's something we're very, very alive to. But as you might imagine, in a girls' school, that's something we would absolutely have to get right.
Absolutely. Well, Jane and Emma, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you.